Hey, YouTube believers. Chris Mack coming at you today with Year of the Villain, Arisen, number 3. Now, I hate to say this because, I always want to support comics, but I don't think that I will be reading the rest of this series. Now, the reason being that I picked this one up is this, to me, is the first official appearance of Punchline. But the book overall, what this is an accumulation of plot threads from Scott Snyder's The Batman Who Laughs, and I think it was Joshua Williamson's Infected arc, and then as well as Scott Snyder's run on Justice League when they were talking about Perpetua and the Source Wall breaking and how Luthor tried to bend Perpetua to his will, and, the whole Legion of Doom. And that's just, it's like, well, here's some events for your event in an event. And that's kind of how this feels. And with the exception of a few, I am very much event fatigued. Whenever they say, oh, the next big event, I go, pass. Which in this case, I hate that I slept on this book because, again, Punchline, and I wasn't able to find a first printing of this. Like, trying to find a first printing of this book, forget about it because of that first appearance. So this is a second printing, which I'm thankful that my local comic shop was able to get ordered for me and delivered, considering the current, this current situation of what we're all going through right now. So anyway, we start on the Hall of Justice, and at this point, all of the Batman Who Laughs minions that have been infected are running it, and his main commander is James Gordon. If you guys are not sure what happened with Gordon, he got infected in the last issue of the Batman Who Laughs, which I think was issue 7, I believe, because Scott Snyder had to add an extra issue, which I really appreciated because that series was great. And since I'm having to go back and upload all my videos, I'll make sure I try to get the Batman Who Laughs stuff back on the page so you guys can watch those reviews as well. They have Lex Luthor captured. And what I like is as they're getting ready to kill him, the Joker's just like, did somebody say party? Oh, sorry, I think I have the wrong room. Is this the gift shop? And Gordon, very much out of character because he's infected. He's like, kill that clown. And we get this beautiful page with the Joker. And it just says, Hell Arisen Part 3. And I just love how they added all that, the machine gun fire here, and the way he just the way the art team here darkened his face to give it a very, grimy, noirish feeling. And then just the random skittish painting of the ha 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 ha, just very classic. It reminds me of the 1990s Batman number 450 cover, which if you guys have not read that issue, definitely an amazing arc that you want to check out. Now, the people that are responsible for this book is James Tynion writing, Steve Epting and Javier Fernandez doing the art, Nick Filardi doing the colors, Travis Lanham doing the lettering, Steve Epting at the cover, and there's everyone else that's associated with the book. And just great work by the art team here. I think that looks amazing. So like I said, I'm not real keen on this whole Hell Arisen thing, but I think that's a really nice piece of art right there. Now the Joker saves Lex, and they're using this supervillain. He's under Joker's control. He goes, my clown prince, I am your loyal servant. I obey your every command. And so this guy's his name is Warp. And now some of these characters that Tynion uses, I've never heard of. Like, for example, I've never heard of Warp before, but apparently his first appearance was New Teen Titans number 14. It was created by Marv Wolfman and George Perez. And he just kind of has this little bit part. And what the Joker does with him, oh man, it gets dark quick. So make sure to pick up the book to see what happens with Warp, because whew. And then we are introduced to these characters, Mala and the Brain, which I guess they are part of the Brotherhood of Evil. Again, characters I'd never heard of before, but apparently they were villains originally of the Doom Patrol way back in 1964. And so I like how Tynion kind of goes back and pulls all these villains that are kind of more obscure, because it makes you want to go back and be like, well, what are these guys? You know what I mean? And if you guys have any information on them, let me know down in the comments. But Joker has captured them. And what I like is that, they're kind of complaining, and the Joker says, "Keep quiet or I'll get the hose again. Understood?" So really, really had to laugh because that's very much a good, Silence of the Lamb homage there. Really, really funny. And then so this person here, this is Mercy, Mercy, and that's Luthor's right-hand gal. And then right here is Punchline. And even the Joker, he goes, "Hold her tight, Punchline, my dear. Lexi and I are talking business." So that's why I said when we did Batman 89, a lot of people are saying that's the first full appearance of Punchline, but you never really see her face. She gets, like 2 panels and they're up close or silhouetted and she's talking, like saying how Harley's not so tough, etc., so forth. And then this one you actually get to see her up close. And I think she only has like 4 panels in this book, but she does not say anything. So I'll try to hit those so you guys can kind of understand where I'm coming from. And so to get back into the point of the book is the Joker and Lex both know that Batman Who Laughs needs to be eliminated because it messes with their positions of what their machinations of what they're trying to do. And what I like is Luthor says, "You're not going to let a Batman rule the world. It's not in you to allow that to happen." And what I like is the Joker is like, "It is wrong. It is a wrong thing." Because, it it mixes him and the antithesis of what he is. So that's why I say it's a wrong thing, because it doesn't have the right type of ideology of what the Joker wants, because it's mixed with Batman. Now, if you guys are ready for some more events that happen in events that are part of your event, this guy's name is Uatu, and this was part of Grant Morrison's Multiversity. Now, Multiversity by itself, I thought it was just going to be another drawn-out, aggravating story arc, but I read a good chunk of the books, and it's really, really interesting. But it's Grant Morrison, and when you start reading things, because I read this years later after it came out, so I started reading all his tie-in books and some of the main books, and it's really interesting how he ties everything in together, and the way he created the Multiversity is also what kind of sparked Scott Snyder's Dark Knight's Metal arc, because he uses a lot of Grant Morrison's universe building in that. But this is what I mean where, I feel like to a degree a comic book should stand on its own. It should just be a comic book. And then, if you want to kind of tie in some threads to other stuff, cool, but at least let the story breathe in its own issue. And I feel like this is just, tie-in after tie-in after tie-in after tie-in. And so this book has no legs of its own. Now, story-wise, Lex probes the Joker's mind looking for a cure to his Joker toxin and how the Batman Who Laughs was able to twist it. And what I like here is the artwork is really, really beautiful, because Lex is inside Joker's mind and seeing his madness. Now, in terms of aesthetic and character's personality, I do feel like this should be a little more twisted and dark, because that's who the Joker is. But nonetheless, a great piece of art. You see all these things going on, and the way he thinks how everything's jumbled and maddening. And so I can't complain too much, but I do wish that they would have maybe made it a little more dark like Grant Morrison did in that. I don't remember what year it came out, but it was called Arkham Asylum. What was it called? A Serious House on something ground or something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head, but amazing book in it. The way he shows the Joker's madness, oh my goodness, it really throws you for a loop. And so Luthor saying, "I got what I need, let's leave." And so this is where we get another picture of Punchline and Mercy saying, "Don't tell me, tell her." And then we kind of get this really creepy up close image of Punchline, and Joker says, "You know my new friend Punchline. She might just be the funniest gal I've ever met in my life. She knows this trick with a rusty saw that always puts the boys in stitches. If they survive, of course." So, she's creepy looking, but I want to know more about her. I kind of feel like when you're going to have a first full appearance, give us some personality. Show us what she's capable of. Is she acrobatic like Harley? Is she smart like Harley? Is she bubbly or is she just straight up dark? Because the way they put her here, she has a really creepy face. And so one other thing that I kind of want to go over in this story, because as I said, this book I feel like has no legs to stand on its own. But when you finally get to like the Joker and Lex kind of talking brass tacks between each other, it gets a little meta, but it's good. So listen to this. The Joker's talking to Lex and he goes, listen to me. The scale of this thing, of your whole new state of being, it's too big. Our stories don't work when they're this big. It's supposed to be the clown prince of crime in the dark night. Neither of us is supposed to go to the fucking moon. And Luthor's like, so what now? You're going to spray paint smiles and gas people into laughing in some kind of death amusement park to torture Batman? Yes, I am. Now, I'm not going to make it that obvious, but you get the gist. Why? Because that's my story. That's what I'm supposed to do. That's what I like to do. And so they kind of have a little bit more back and forth, and he goes, Punchline, I think it's time we moved on. This base is spent. So 2 more images of Punchline, and then we finally kind of start getting more into the meat and bones of what's going to be happening in the next issue, which I personally just do not care about, but I will say on this last panel that I'm going to show you, that is beautiful. You see Manta, you see Lex, Solomon Grundy, Lobo. I'm not 100% sure who this character is. Let me know down in the comments. This guy, I know it's not an Owen. I want to say, even though he looks blue here, who is that character, the little boy that's a demon and he has his familiar, that's the cat? That's who I think this is. I'm not 100% sure on that. And then Captain Cold, which is really cool. So what does all this mean? If you guys are curious, please pick up the next issue of Hell Arisen, number 4. I, on the other hand, will be not doing that. I'm a long-time Batman fan, so whenever things happen like, Harley, Punchline, characters dying, new characters being introduced, etc., so forth, I like to jump on those because I want to know what's going to happen in the Batman mythos. So that's why I've been kind of trying to follow all the appearances of Punchline, because I want to get to know her more. But this book overall, as I hope you guys kind of get, it has no legs to stand on its own because they're trying to cram too much events into an event. And I think that's just DC's way of trying to wrap everything up. And I kind of hope, I don't know, because 4 I think has come and gone already. After Scott Snyder's The Batman Who Laughed, I didn't care anymore. He was seemingly defeated. Scott Snyder did a beautiful way of wrapping it up. And now he's back all of a sudden. And we have these infected, which I was hoping when, they teased that Gordon was going to be infected, I was hoping that was going to run through the Batman books and see what was going to happen with his decision-making as commissioner. But then, we jump into James Tynion's Batman at 86, and all of a sudden he's, Gordon's gone because he's infected. Bullock's the acting commissioner. And I was like, this was the perfect opportunity to see what would happen. But no, we're going to put Gordon in an event book. Oh, that bugs. But anyway, so in terms of this being its own standalone book, yeah, not so much. Is there good stuff in here? Oh, yeah. Especially when you get to the moments with Lex and the Joker. It's some really interesting reads. And then, too, for the collection portion of this, for those that still are more onto the collection side, this is, as I said, the first appearance, or second appearance, first full appearance, however you want to label it, of Punchline. So this book does have merit, and if you're interested to see where all these event stuff is accumulated, then this book will be right up your alley. So if you have enjoyed what you've seen, please make sure to support your local comic shop. And at the time of this recording, with everything going on, see if they can't either mail it or deliver it to you, or they also do, some comic shops are doing curbside service. If this is in the future and things have finally, relaxed, then please, take a moment in your day to go support your local comic shop and pick up a copy. And if you've enjoyed this book or this review or both, we definitely appreciate it if you take a moment to hit like, share, and subscribe. helps the club channel more than you could possibly know, especially at this point of this recording that we've had to restart the channel. So if you were subscribed previously, please make sure to resubscribe. Or, subscribe. Yeah, this isn't Facebook. And if you're new, please make sure to subscribe as well. And if you won't mind hitting that fancy little punchline bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys can come to the page, and we'd love to hear your feedback and have a dialogue with you down in the comments below or on our social media pages, which I'll make sure to leave the links down in the description below. So with all that said, thank you all so much for stopping by. I hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.